Your phone buzzes. It's them, the person you've been thinking about, the person you actually like. And you stare at the notification. You might even open it. But then, nothing. Hours pass, days. You've vanished. Not because you're cruel, not because you stopped caring, but because something in you hit a wall you can't explain. If you've ever ghosted someone you genuinely liked, and felt that specific sour mix of relief and guilt, you've probably asked yourself, what just happened inside me? Let's talk about the psychology of ghosting when you actually care. Because ghosting isn't always coldness. Sometimes it's the opposite. A malfunction of warmth. A system overload of feeling. A quiet rebellion against your own vulnerability. First, there's the fear of intimacy ghost. This is the person who craves connection until it gets close enough to touch. They'll go on 3 amazing dates, feel the spark, exchange the vulnerable 2 a.m. texts, and then, the moment the other person says, "I really like you," something inside them freezes. Not because they don't feel it back, but because they do. And feeling it means they could lose it. The psychology here is attachment avoidance masked as mystery. They've learned, often from early relationships that disappointed them, that closeness equals eventual pain. So they ghost preemptively. It's not, "I don't care." It's, "I care so much I need to exit before this can hurt me." The cruel irony. They leave the other person thinking they were never invested, when the truth is they were too invested for their own nervous system to handle. Maybe it's you. Maybe you've disappeared on someone and told yourself it was bad timing, when really your capacity for intimacy just ran out. Then there's the self-sabotage ghost. This one's darker. They don't ghost because they're scared of the other person. They ghost because they're scared they don't deserve them. The relationship is going well. The texts are exciting. And then a voice creeps in. They'll figure out I'm boring. They'll see I'm not as interesting as they think. Better to leave now before they realize. So they vanish. The psychology here is shame-driven self-protection. By ghosting, they control the narrative of their own inadequacy. They'd rather be the one who left than the one who was eventually left. It's a twisted form of self-fulfilling prophecy. See, I ruin good things. Every unanswered message is proof they're broken. What they don't see is that the ghosting is the breakage, not the flaw they're trying to hide. If you've ever ended something good because it felt too good to be true, you might be carrying a story that says you're only allowed conditional, limited love. But here's the twist. Some people ghost because their feelings are too big, not too small. Meet the overwhelmed ghost. This person feels everything at volume 10. The excitement of a new connection, the anxiety of waiting for a reply, the flood of possibilities. It's exhilarating until it's unbearable. They'll be fully engaged, sending thoughtful messages, planning future dates in their head. Then one day the emotional bandwidth just collapses. The thought of responding feels like climbing a mountain. They're not playing games, they're experiencing emotional shutdown. The psychology here is nervous system dysregulation. Their capacity for processing intensity gets maxed out, and ghosting becomes the only way to catch their breath. They're not avoiding you. They're avoiding the overwhelm you innocently trigger. The tragedy? They often come back weeks later with a genuine apology, confused by their own disappearance, only to repeat the cycle when the intensity spikes again. And then there's the perfectionist ghost. This is the person who idealizes you. In their mind, you're the perfect match. The conversations are flawless. The chemistry is cinematic. But then you say something slightly awkward, or they have an off day and can't be their best self, or they realize they can't sustain the fantasy. So they disappear. The psychology here is all or nothing thinking. They'd rather ghost than show you their imperfect, human, sometimes boring reality. It's not that they stopped liking you. It's that they can't handle the gap between the idealized version of you and the real, messy, evolving version. Ghosting is their way of preserving the perfect memory, untouched by the friction of actual intimacy. If you've ever left because the magic faded, you might be addicted to beginnings and terrified of middles. So which ghost are you? Maybe you're a hybrid. Maybe you're the intimacy avoider who also self-sabotages. Maybe you're the overwhelmed perfectionist who ghosts when the feelings get too real and too flawed at the same time. The truth is, ghosting someone you like is rarely about them. It's about your internal map of safety, worthiness, and emotional capacity. It's a quiet, confusing act of self-preservation that accidentally wounds someone else. Next time you feel that urge to vanish, pause. Not to force yourself to text back, but to ask, what am I actually running from? The answer might not save the connection, but it might finally help you stop haunting your own relationships.